Hello, welcome to my Sunday Front. Today, I have just a little update, and I think that's about just like a few stories. It looks like it's a lot of stories, but like one just took like 3 pages, and then what was it? So, I did go back and I filled in the gunman's name for Antioch, and I found his name was Solomon Henderson. So I just wrote that down, and then I don't really have a lot of updates on other stuff. I don't know. I guess because I do them a little bit more frequent. I don't know. I think everybody's like getting situated as far as political leaders is concerned. People are just getting situated, and there's been so many new elected officials around the world. And so, I mean, everything's been pretty simple as far as news is concerned. You know, the same battles are still, going on. Yeah, and I mean, around the world, I'd say there's not a lot, I can say. I think one thing that for sure I feel like, I feel kind of strange, like, I thought that more people would support our country, but like, I feel like maybe I was wrong, like, I just feel like maybe I was wrong. I don't know. You guys watching, let me know what you think. Do you guys still feel the same way? I'm pretty sure you do. I'm just like, I think the thing is that we get a second term president, and he's like really famous, and everybody else gets like a really, really, like they get a leader that's kind of like not like a star. So like, I think that's what it is. And so anyways, as promised, our president Donald J. Trump, like I told you before, he was really, really trying really hard to get all this stuff rolling out, the ceasefire and the hostage negotiations. It's like his priority. So guys, if you're still liking it, let him know, show your support, show your pride, your patriotism. Be loud and make your noise, because let him know, he's doing a good job. And that's what we like to see in the White House. Somebody that understands, that we don't, like, we can't ignore the plight of other people, even though it's completely around the world, that it's happening. But 8 hostages were released. 5. Okay, I wrote that funky. Let me fix that janky 5. Okay, 5 from Thailand and 3 from Israel. So the 5 from Thailand flew back, and then the 3 from Israel they were released to the Israeli forces in Israel. But the total was 8. Okay, so I have some really sad news. yeah, this is really sad news. American Eagle Flight 5342. American Eagle Flight 5342. This is a airline. It's just a plane that flies through this airline. And all 67 occupants of the Potomac plane crash are now presumed dead. Incident crash midair involving an airline and a Black Hawk helicopter proved deadly. 40 victims pulled from Potomac River, in which they plunged. The plane split in half upon impact with the chopper, falling into the river, the entire wreck in one spot. Crews searched all night and day. Investigators were able to recover 2 black boxes, 3 servicemen, and 2 figure skaters that were 1994 champions among the victims. After an exhausting search, recovery was called, and vigils started. Memorials also have been held. The figure skating community also found they lost a teen skater, whose mother also aboard, a passenger of Flight 5342. May they all rest in peace. Now, just to go over it, Flight 5342 crashed into the Potomac River Wednesday night. It crashed along with the Black Hawk helicopter because they collided midair. There was like 2 planes and 1 helicopter in the same vicinity on surveillance. The helicopter and the plane who were flying on the same side of the river had direct impact. The plane split in half, and the wreckage fell into the river, the Potomac River. They started search and recovery immediately. They were flying over. There were people looking in the water. They were checking the shores, scanning the shoreline. They didn't find any survivors. So after a certain amount of time, they ended up calling it, and they did find 40 of the victims. So there's still some missing. Now, the Black Hawk helicopter, of course, is a military vehicle. It's a it was used for training at the time, in which 3 servicemen were in the helicopter. So for a total of 3 known names in the figure skating community have also perished in this crash. So a lot of memorials and vigils, a lot of them being held by the figure skating community. And so, I mean, you can see a lot of people online in grief and mourning their, their idols. And so it was kind of like, a big deal, this crash, because they were champions, I believe, international champions. Some atrocious news. DJ Ak, of course. DJ Akademiks was live streamed grooming a child. The child interacted with two individuals whom are known online, infamous now, and popular influencers. DJ Academic has been gossiped to be a child sex offender since he started. He never shamed. Dragged his entire crew down, too, and has even caught a solid case for brutally sexually assaulting his own girlfriend. In their mansion, video footage leaked along with his own uploaded content and daily posts self-incriminating him. Even still, the day after, where an argument led to her outing him in social media spaces, went viral. This predator behavior, rumored to be engaged in by Mr. Beast, Miranda Sings, Ash Trevino, and with the cancellation train, they continue to be very visible on their platform. And this dangerous atmosphere is an issue that law enforcement has yet to thoroughly crack down. Though it does take community effort, if you see something, say something. I want to go over this so that we are clear about what was live streamed and caught on video, on camera. DJ Academics and another famous name. They are both known on social media. So I like to call them famous even though they're not sort of accredited to any pop culture whatsoever. But like, like for, just for the record, they are famous names. So DJ Academics and the other individual had engaged in the grooming of child, where they propositioned him with many things, including the hiring of a sex worker. So this happened, and afterwards, soon, people, were kind of circulating this video. Eventually, somebody reported it on a tip line for a cybercrime tip line. It was just an advocacy, though. It was an agency. It was an advocacy. And that also started catching wind of the public in the spaces. So then it started really picking up when he continued to kind of dumb it down. And some famous people started talking about it. A song also was written about it. As of today, I believe they uploaded the video today. In the end of the video, I think there's like a little cartoon of the whole incident. So, I mean, for me, being responsible, I think, it doesn't mean creating content. I think it means sticking to your guns, trust your instincts, and literally being down bad for the cause. Now, this is for the children, so this, I'm sorry, but there is no reasoning with me. There's no excuses, and the responsibility falls all on the criminal. But because that ended up picking up steam, people in his team wanted to also downplay his actions. And because of these little crews, especially like you can see Mr. Beast has a crew, Miranda Sings has a crew, Ash Trevino has a crew. They're all kind of vlog and creator crews. In a sense, they are influencer cliques, and they will all come together to try to stick up for each other and try to back each other legally or however they can. Even illegally, they have been known to pull guns on people, and some of this behavior taken to the streets has led to violent incidents. In which the law enforcement had been involved, and in one case where Academic himself was involved in the gang raping of his own girlfriend that was caught in his own surveillance, and she is still in the process of taking legal action against him. So that case is still being seen, and also the allegations allegedly are being investigated, although there are no receipts at this time, and zero accountability on the part of DJ Academics himself. So like I said, I know that this kind of feels like it's undermining, but once we start talking about it, once we start getting serious about knowing how to prevent this activity from, manifesting into a actually, like an actual event in which somebody has fallen prey, So, I mean, this could happen to anybody. And it was not that kid's fault. So that's why I say we all need to be visual. We all need to be more respectful of the guidelines and adhere to them. And like I said, when you see something, say something, because you never know who it could be next. And you, of course, once action is taken, that's a first step in making things right, in making this a safer space, in cleaning up this toxic community in which we have all been exposed to. And speaking of which, I want to go on to talk about the Tiffany Henyard case. If you don't know who Tiffany Henyard is, she dubbed herself Super Mayor. She is mayor of Dalton, Illinois, and she held seat in Thornton Township for a while. And so I wanted to update you guys because I had introduced you to her case, I believe, formally the last read. So Tiffany Henyard, last spotted at her natural habitat, Wires Cash and Loans. She had a TRO made against her by many members of the local community she quote-unquote serves. Former Mayor Lightfoot, in retaliation for her effort to do her part in fighting corruption, has also had an investigation started regarding Chicago's oversight of their finances. None of the charges are similarly extortion, embezzling, not even skimming. I guess the ragamuffin needs to make a point. Let me correct that. The ragamuffin needs to make a point, not just get attention by behaving like a toddler. So I feel like in retaliation for Lightfoot presenting the requested documentation of the spending as far as Thornton Township is concerned, and their finances, Tiffany Henyard hit back by seeking an investigation on Lightfoot herself. So, but like I said, somebody got a TRO against her, and the last time anybody saw her out, she had went to a loans place. So Tiffany Henyard has more physical violations to add to her pitiful case. So let's rewind to the meeting. Lightfoot had to clarify the expense reports. Now Henyard's goons turned in, let me try this again. So let's rewind to the meeting. Lightfoot had to clarify the expense reports Henyard's goons turned in formally. Leaving out the 2/3 spent on the lavish lifestyle, cars, and parties. So I'll put that in parentheses so that way I know. Lightfoot showed the skating rink purchases, the detail down to accessories, and announced to the media and concerned citizens the entire account was cleaned by Henyard herself. She made all the purchases and solely benefited from the town funding. She showed up to the Thornton Township meeting, allegedly with henchmen, and this was afterwards, and violent offenders who would prove themselves a threat once the meeting was closing out. At the last few moments, a black activist spoke, exposing her for corruption, intimidation, and tainting the ballot. She had already threatened this black man on video several times. She threatened members on video. None would go viral enough to prevent what occurred after her mic wasn't lit back up for her ratchet ghetto clapback in dog language. Let me go over this one more time. So, Lightfoot went over in a meeting the expenses for Thornton Township. So, that day that meeting occurred, Thornton Township also had a meeting after this one. And Lightfoot showed all the receipts that she got from Henyard's team that showed that she had made purchases of an ice rink, and she told everybody that there was no funds left. And also, we find out that she spent like 2/3 of the funds on her lifestyle, her cars, her parties, etc. So when they went to the meeting afterwards, the community, they held the meeting, but when people began to speak and during the closing, one activist decided that, everybody was pretentiously covering, almost to the point where it was silencing the citizens of the township. And he wanted to make a point, so he spoke about how she was conducting activities in corruption and intimidation, and also in tainting the ballot. Though this man in particular, she had threatened several members of that community. These videos were not circulated widely. They were not even viral. So I think that people didn't see, the importance until now, whereas this event she led incited a uprising, I guess is what you can call it, in favor of her changing the vote. So once he spoke, she tried to engage with him, with her usual intimidating threats and aggression. Verbally assaulting people is what she's known to do whenever she feels like she's being confronted for her poor behavior. Her boyfriend walked up on the activist, scanning for a target, but given many members were elderly, a gentleman tapped him on the shoulder, to which instantly spun the psycho into a violent fit of rage. Her henchmen began to riot soon after the first right hook to the peacekeeper's head was secured. Tiffany Hayward, with a full yaki orange wig and shoe in hand, attempted to ambush the activist, whom also was lynched. She used her shoes as weapons, causing further injury. After seeing her wig on the ground and the police were called, her team of creepers scurried away to evade the law enforcement officers. And the boyfriend continued inciting violence, threatening and verbally assaulting the room filled with law-abiding citizens. The lynch mob broke a TV. So now they have to foot that bill. Rest in peace, flat screen, edge-to-edge reception. 3 were found to be hired illegally, with only W-2 forms on file for paychecks. The boyfriend, or mob leader, worked with children whom were in their at-risk program. All 3 were placed on leave with pay. So I find this one of the most audacious things. Because they were hired illegally, why would they be paid? So her boyfriend, after the black activist spoke, he walked up in full, aggression. He just like if you saw his eyes, you just knew he was out of his mind. And one man stood up. He was sitting right next to a bunch of some of the residents who were elderly. He tapped him on the shoulder, just very lightly, like, you know how when somebody asks you to kind of be seated or something, like an usher, it's kind of that type of situation. But obviously he wanted blood, so he threw the right hook right on that man's face, and all her little team of henchmen jumped and lynched these civilians. Especially, obviously they were targeting the activist. And when she saw an opening in his moment of vulnerability and, she grabbed her shoes to beat him with it, with the shoes. So once they started calling the cops and acting in response to the riot, the whole team went to go, evade the law, and kind of took off altogether. The boyfriend lingered behind to continue berating and threatening the crowd. He told the whole, the whole committee, everybody at the meeting, he was telling them that that vote needed to be changed, or else. He was threatening them. He was ready to become extreme, and I don't know how else to describe it, but he did say that he had smoke, quote unquote, for the entire room. And I don't know why he kept walking back and forth from the parking lot back into the room where the civilians were kind of locked in, because, like I said, her team of henchmen were out in the parking lot and getting in their vehicles to, like I said, to evade the law. So basically, they were open and vulnerable, and he used that time, to continue this uprisal. So yeah, he was included in the 3 that they found had zero paperwork, to which they were appointed officials and held seats in the government. Even he had access to children, at-risk children at that. And afterwards, he was given only, he had to be on leave with pay. So, he wasn't allowed to work, basically. But he is still being given his paycheck. And I think that's really, really telling, So that's the update. Now, Storm Ewan still showing its mark, as many affected in Ireland are without power. They gave report that the water also may be affected, and some may be able to boil their water first, but some are said to have frozen down to the tap, the pipes and stuff. Buildings have also seen damage, citing the epic winds during the carnage of Ewan. The Midwest is seeing severe storms move through. Texas is still not out of the path, and these thunderstorms, though heavily visible in the Midwest, are also affecting the East Coast as well. So today, the Midwest is seeing severe thunderstorm, and a smaller portion of Texas is still under the threat of storm. But it's a really big storm. Like, you see, like, Florida, the Great Lakes, the East Coast. Like, it's like, if this is Texas, it's like a portion of Texas all the way, kind of like all the way up and down. Yeah, I'd say it's like moving this way. And probably the top of Florida too. So basically, it's like moving east. But the majority is staying in the Midwest. So, I mean, it's like, It's like kind of lingering for me, but you know, it's not really that bad where I'm at. Locally, I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio, and we've been having pretty fair weather, and the temperatures are just about right. I feel like it's chilly out, but I mean, I'm wearing shorts, so so I'm good. But I mean, be careful out there if you're in these areas. And thank you guys for watching today. If you like the video, like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one. My son different. Bye-bye.